Welcome to the channel. Hope all of you out there doing great, staying safe and staying out of trouble. I've done my share of making fun of lot lizards, but reality is, as a truck driver, whether you're male or female, whether whatever you identify as or whatever way you go in this world, you know, you still have fleshly desires, I'm going to call it. Let's keep it YouTube friendly. Fleshly desires, right? Whether you're on the LGBTQ side, the straight side, it doesn't matter. You still got fleshly desires. And being on the road, it can be difficult to fulfill those special, those desires, right? Unless you're home every weekend or you're married or, your wife travels with you or whatever the case may be, right? But if you're single and you're driving a truck, it is very difficult. And I did it all. Let me tell you, I was on Plenty of Fish at one time, Tinder, Bumble, and I would get lucky every now and then. But it was difficult. It was very difficult. One, because you're not in town very long, and almost 80% of the time, what you're going to hear is, "Oh, that's cool. Well, let's get to know each other and message me next time you're in town." And it's like crap, because I may be through there, but I may not be through there with enough time to stop for several weeks or several months. I may not be through there at all for several weeks or several months. It just depends on what lane I end up in and where I end up at in the country. So I used to hate to hear that, because honestly, I was trying to satisfy earthly desires, and I knew that they were going to figure out real quick, like, that I didn't come through there on a regular basis like I told them I do, because they would always ask, "You come here regularly?" "Yeah, I'm here all the time." Because you don't want to tell them you're there sometimes and they're not sometimes, because then they lose interest, right? So I had a little bit of luck, but you got to think too that the kind of girls that you're going to talk to for a few minutes and they're going to come to your truck are not the kind of girls you want to keep, for sure. And you for sure want to protect yourself, and if you're a woman, picking up a guy, that guy's probably not the guy you want to keep. And you for sure want to make sure you protect yourself. Lot lizards, when I first started driving, they were everywhere. Probably my first 4 or 5 years, 6 years on the road, they were all over the place. I hear guys say, "Well, I seen a lot lizard, and it's like, yeah, it ain't like it used to be, it ain't nowhere near it. And if you're comparing today to what it used to be like and thinking they're still around, then I know you weren't around very long. You ain't been driving very long. Because you can ask any of these old school drivers out here, and they'll tell you it was wild out there at one time. Like, there were nights that you'd have to put a paper up on the window with a note, "Please don't knock. I got to get up early," because they'd have you up all night long, constantly knocking on the door, back to back to back to back. And it was it was a fun time, but also a very dangerous time, because there was a lot of BS that came along with it. Guys getting robbed, drivers getting killed. There was a lot of BS that came with it. It wasn't just fun and games. Myself, even though the things I did probably weren't any better, I felt better, because to me, a lot lizard was just nasty. In my opinion, if a person can mess with a lot lizard, they can mess with anybody. They don't have any standard whatsoever. Because a lot lizards, they don't get a shower in between. They're not cleaning themselves, they're washing themselves off in puddles. They're just bouncing from truck to truck. And you think about it, you take a lot like the TA in Dallas. I don't know exactly how many trucks fit on that lot. Let's say 100 trucks fit on that lot. If only 10% of them a night allow a girl in the truck, that's 10 guys a night. You don't know if you're number 1, number 8, or number 10. And if she's been doing that a few years, you might be number 1,000, number 1,005. I mean, do you get what I'm saying? To me, it was a complete turnoff. Not only that, but when I used to joke with them at the window or BS with them or whatever, just killing time, their prices were always out of range anyway. I remember talking to one up in North Little Rock, that Petro, one time. I was walking back. I walked over next door and got barbecue. I don't know if they still have it or not. They used to have barbecue in the back of that dance hall right there. And I was walking back, and this girl was hitting me up, seeing if I wanted some company. And I was working for Stevens Transport at the time. I couldn't afford no company if I wanted it. And I was like, no, just out of curiosity, what are you charging? And she's like, 50 for head and 100 for everything. And I was like, shit, no, I couldn't afford you on a good week, you know. I was like, guys are paying that? She said, yeah. So that's crazy. That is absolutely nuts. But anyway, you get to what I used to do other than the online dating things. There were some things I did to fulfill my needs that I'm not so proud of, but I put it out there anyway. And if you're in that nature or whatever, you're in that realm of your life, you know, maybe it'll give you some ideas. Now, I'm not saying this way's any safer. I always felt like it was. I always felt like the girls were cleaner, you know, but that's just me talking myself into it, right? In my mind, right? All in all, if I could go back and redo it again, I wouldn't have done none of it. You know, it wasn't a good idea on any level. But I did. I fell to temptation. I did bad things. I've done bad things in my life. I've done a lot of bad things in my life. Not perfect by any means. But anyhow, let me get into this. And I'm going to tell a few spots that I've been to personally. I don't know if they're still around. It's been a few years since I participated in those types of things. My last few years on the road, I didn't mess around like that. Mainly probably my first 8 or 10 years I did on the road. One of my favorite places to stop used to be, I think it's Elizabethtown, Kentucky. It's on 65 there south of Louisville. And there's a Denny's. If you get off the highway, if you're headed, it's going to be on the west side of the interstate. There's a Denny's there. It's got a big dirt lot next to it. Well, I used to park in that dirt lot, not to get me something to eat at Denny's. Well, across the street and kind of down the street, maybe 100 yards, if that far, there looks like a 2-story house, got a fence around it. It's actually a massage parlor with air quotes. That place is hard to catch open. It used to be closed so much that I thought it was just permanently closed. But every now and again, I'd catch it open. It'd be open. Sometimes in the middle of the day, sometimes late at night. You know, they didn't have any kind of regular schedule. And I guess that made it harder on law enforcement to raid them and do things like that. But it was Asian. There was an Asian guy that ran the front where you checked in at, and a very beautiful Asian lady that used to come into the room. Probably the best set of knockers I've seen on an Asian woman in my entire life. Probably weren't real. They were probably fake. But hey, they were the best set I'd ever seen in my life on an Asian woman. But that used to be one of my spots. Another one of my spots used to be, I think it's up in Youngstown, Ohio. Get that Club 76 at a strip club or whatever on one end, and it's got like a little bar and grill in the middle. Well, all the way to the other end, it's got a massage place in it. You know, they do table showers, massage, all that kind of stuff in there. Well, it's got extracurricular activities in there as well. And it was Asian also. It was another spot I used to stop at every now and then. You can actually park behind it, or used to be able to. So if the TA across the street was full, you could pull around and park behind it. Guys used to line up over there. That used to be another one of my regular spots back in the day. Let me think. There's a couple more. Moriarty, New Mexico. Funny backstory, by the way. For years, I called Moriarty, New Mexico, Mortuary, New Mexico. Till another driver corrected me. I don't know why. I just called it Mortuary. It's the way it looked like it was spelled to me. Anyhow, we've all seen the signs. You know, they got the half-hour foot massage or whatever. The billboards up there for, I can't remember, $45 or something like that. That place they'll give you a massage. They really do massages in there, but they do a little more than that. Now, over the years, they made it harder and harder for trucks to park there. Used to, you could just pull back behind it and park. They put up fences. They've done different things. That place still wants drivers. There's a Chinese restaurant there, and then the massage parlor is on the other end of the building. But it's better if you park down at Lisa's truck stop and walk down to it. It's a little bit safer. It's easier to get in and out. And your truck's not parked right there because everybody knows what you're there for. I mean, that's no secret. That place has been there for years. I'm sure everybody's probably, some of y'all listening have probably been in there a time or two. But let me think. In Georgia, south of Atlanta. I cannot remember the name of the town. It's south of Macon and all that. It's probably about halfway between Macon and Valdosta. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. I don't remember the name of the nearest town. But you get off the highway. It's on the east side of the highway. There's an old truck stop there. Got pretty good food in it, by the way. Home-cooked food. Across the street, back then it was a newer-looking building. That's been a few years. I haven't been in there in probably 10 years. But across the street was a newer-looking building. And it kind of looked like a house or a chiropractic office. It was built like that. It wasn't real large. Brick building. Had a little fence around it. Used to go over there, and it was the same thing over there. That was it was a front as a massage parlor, but it was not a massage parlor. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This one you can't get to with a truck. You got to catch an Uber to it or a Lyft to it. Just look up massages. There's only a few places in Cedar Rapids. This one is a 2-story house. I do not remember the name of it. I just know where it's at. I can still picture it in my mind where it's at. And when you walk through the door, there's a chalkboard there that's got all the prices on it. But they got a hot tub, and it's kind of expensive. But it's a very upper class type place. Excuse me. Very upper class type place. And really high-end girls. Or very high-end girls. Probably one of the most high-end places I'd ever been to. And that's in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Now, Cedar Rapids got truck parking in town. There's a couple different spots. You got Woody's strip club out there. You can park out there beside it. There's a truck stop. Can't remember the name of it. There's a couple other little places there in Cedar Rapids you can park a truck. Of course, in the industrial park, they used to have a strip club in the middle of the industrial park that was called Lumberyard. But last time I was up there, Lumberyard was closed. Which sucks. That was one of their best strip clubs. But yeah, that's another spot I used to stop at. I'd go to every now and then if I was in Cedar Rapids. That's all I can really think of off the top of my head. Now, down in Laredo, down in Laredo one time I tried at that one place when you first enter town. I had tried there one time to see what it was about, but I didn't get anywhere in there. Not saying they don't do anything, because they had the look of it. It definitely had the feel of that kind of place. Don't remember the name of it. But I didn't get anywhere in there. But I didn't straight up ask either. But I didn't straight up ask in any of them. I used to just kind of go with the flow and see where it went and go from there. But that place there, I didn't get anywhere in there in Laredo. But I'm not saying nobody does. I could definitely see it happening. You may have to go about it a little different way than I did. You may have to be a little more direct about it. But I personally didn't get anywhere in there. Well, if you're into that sort of sinful thing, there's you some heads up. There's you some spots to check out. If you're in the area and you got the time, be careful because the cops do raid those places sometimes. And be safe for sure and protect yourself. Don't get yourself caught up in no mess and don't go out there catching nothing, because just because it's a high-end place, even like the place in Cedar Rapids may be high-end, STDs don't discriminate. They don't care how much money you got. They don't care if you're in a high-end place or a low-end place. STD's an STD, But the best bet is to leave it alone. Just my personal opinion. But if you're into that sort of thing and you don't want to leave it alone, there's you some spots. There's you some ideas. Check out Elizabethtown. Check out a few of these spots. And once you get the feel of what they look like, you may see other spots that are similar to it. And I'm sure somebody will pop up down in the comments eventually on this video and drop down their favorite somewhere in the country. There ain't no telling. Anyway, y'all take care. Y'all stay safe. Be good to each other out there. And it's Christmas Eve today. I'm laying in bed, not doing anything. But y'all take care. Stay safe. Keep trucking.